With how shit the world is at the moment, I thought it'd be best to relive the glory days. The days when England was the dominant force in the world. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the days of Brexit, when Britain debated France over fish, and when racism became a national pastime for people claiming to be patriotic. As this is Crusader Kings, I'm going to implement a little bit of role-playing here and some imagination. We're going to imagine how Brexit England could reform the British Empire through any means necessary. Because Brexit means Brexit, we're going to force every single person to join our empire. I named my character Lucifer for no real reason. Thinking about it, I probably could have made like a Boris Johnson joke or a Nigel Farage joke, but it's too late now. And we started in East Anglia because, little known fact, that's where I'm from. First things first, because this is an 867 start, we've got to get these disgusting foreigners out of our country, because Brexit means Brexit. Now, defending from the Vikings isn't too difficult because obviously the British are so hard and strong, and they have a massive penalty coming from overseas. But at the moment, we don't have the manpower to fully just take Jorvik, go all the way north. So we're gonna have to unify the rest of the British first under the banner of Brexit. By then, we'll probably have enough support to just fully get rid of all foreigners from the country. So that means Wessex and Mercia have to go. Now, really luckily, we got a claim on Mercia because, it's a free land and I have rights. And if I want to take Mercia, I'm allowed to take Mercia because I'm British and white. So you know where this is going to go. I'm going to take Mercia. To take Mercia, I 100% needed an alliance. So I got an alliance with the biggest duchy in Wales, which was extremely fucking important because mine and Mercia's army sizes were really similar. So it was like, it just doubled my army size, which made it pretty piss easy to actually take Mercia. Another really interesting development that happened was that Alfred the Great died like really early on, and it split Wessex up into just two really weak kingdoms run by little children. So that made my job really fucking easy. Usually Wessex is really strong in England along with Jorvik, but although they got rid of a potential ally, it made it really easy for me to just take it. I'm gonna skip over a lot of footage because otherwise we'll be here like all fucking day. I've got like 17 hours of footage and I need to get it down to like around 8 minutes. Otherwise people just won't fucking watch this video. So I'm gonna skip over a lot of stuff. You're just gonna have to realise what happens. I mean, we all know how to play this game. You fabricate a claim and then you declare war and you repeat it. It's not too difficult. But as you can see, I was taking loads of shit. Not extremely quickly, but I was taking it. Despite that, I formed England. So I had my kingdom up and going. Another massive step was converting out of Catholicism, because nobody likes the Catholics. Also, incest is the name of the game in this game. Everyone loves incest. So I converted to Adamitism, I think that's how you say it. The one where you're naked and you fuck your sisters. Obviously, my first character died pretty early at 66, and then my heir didn't really do a lot. I was just clearing up some stray counties and some border gore for a while. The first major thing I did was form my own religion. I thought it was pretty fitting for what I had planned. I made near enough every single thing illegal, because if you didn't know, that's the best way to make money. It's the best way. You just arrest everyone and ransom them constantly. And for some reason everyone commits adultery, so it's just such easy money. Victoria died. She was pretty useless, but she played her part. Now it's on to Victoria II. She was one of my favourites. She went on a little bit of a madness. I formed Britannia like almost instantly, and finally took near enough all the counties in Britain. The relatives of Father of the Boneless were a bit annoying, but I finally got them. Victoria II is where I kind of got my full Pax Britannica plan going. I started colonising. My plan was to go through the Mediterranean into Egypt, and then from Egypt to the Middle East, and then to Africa, and then India. I thought it was a good plan. So first I took Gibraltar, and then I went through Gibraltar to Malta, and then I went from Malta to Alexandria. Malta was a bitch. Actually, that was a real bitch, because I had to take it from the Byzantines, and they just have such a massive army. But I finally took Malta, and then from Malta I could pretty much go wherever the fuck I want, so I just kind of started spreading really quickly. Unlike Malta, Alexandria was really easy to take. And then I went for a little bit of a risky play. I went for Jerusalem. It was risky because the Abbasids are pretty fucking strong, but the bigger problem is that the Pope just loves to crusade the shit out of Jerusalem, just for no reason. And seeing as I wasn't Catholic, it had the potential to be a pretty big problem, and spoiler alert, it was a pretty big problem. But for the time being, it wasn't too hard to take. I formed a nice alliance with the Byzantines, which really helped, because I don't know if I could have taken Jerusalem without them. I don't know why they allied with me, because I had just declared war on them, but that's their own fucking fault. The main reason I went for Jerusalem is because of the holy sites. When I had 2 holy sites, then I could be the head of my faith, and then I could just declare crusades, and that's just some easy kingdoms. So that's what I did. I crusaded the rest of Africa. I took the massive kingdom to the south of Egypt, and I just started clearing through, declaring war left, right and centre. I was declaring wars at the same time. I was just steamrolling through the south of Africa, all towards Ethiopia, is it? Yeah, it is. Tell a lie, I didn't crusade the kingdom south of Egypt, I just crusaded Egypt. Also, another lie, the crusade of Jerusalem was a big fucking problem, because I got crusaded almost instantly. I had it for about a year, and I was right in the middle of just attacking loads of people in Africa, so that came at a really bad time. Which is why you should just never take Jerusalem, just leave it. Just leave it, because the Pope always gets it. I don't know how big this crusade was, I don't actually think it was that big. I think it was kind of even, but they're just kind of retarded. They sail over and then just die, like, endlessly. So it's not too hard to defend. So I won it quite easily, to be honest. But it's still annoying, right? It's the principle. I can't remember when, but I think at some point I died, just like through my warring through Africa. But I got my new guy, and he focused in learning, and it just made it really easy because I got the perk that means you can buy claims, and I was just buying every single fucking claim on every single duchy I could see that was in the British Empire. So I was plowing through everyone, just up the rear, through everyone, through all Africa, through the Middle East, to Oman, to Yemen. Like, it was a bit of a slog. Like, it took a fucking long time. Probably took way longer than it needed to. And it wasn't that interesting, to be honest. But, it happened. So I was making some serious progress with this guy who could just buy claims. As you can see, I had pretty much all of British colonial Africa just sorted, apart from a few small counties. Then I fucking died. And I hadn't been paying attention to my heir, who was shit, and he died within a year. So now I'm stuck with this 13-year-old, and this is just where it all went to shit. Obviously, because I was 13, someone tried to overthrow me, and you can see it's 7,000 against 30,000. I was fucked. I had no chance. But if you're smart, you'll notice that we're only like halfway through this video. So that's because I fucking won. I bunkered up in East Anglia. I tried to take a few counties here and there. I was in it for the long haul. I was picking off the small armies. Just trying to get that small amount of war score, just kind of build it up until I could get a white piece. And eventually I did, somehow, some fucking how. That's probably the best underdog war I've ever fought in this game, and honestly, I'm fucking proud of it, right? I think it was good. That's why it's in the video. Other than that, it's not really that important to, like, the main aim of the video, which is to recreate the British Empire. Although my joy was kind of short-lived, because, this is Crusader Kings, and therefore the Christians are gonna crusade Jerusalem. And yeah, that happened again. This is why you should just never take Jerusalem. Just fuck it, just leave it. Who needs it? So I kind of just binned it off. I just accepted defeat and just left Jerusalem. I'll take it again later. At this point, it was getting a bit tedious. Africa was just really slow, and I don't know why. It was just a slog to walk through there. So I decided to try and take India, or at least get like a foothold in India at the same time, because, that's a smart idea to do. And for some reason it was really fucking easy to take. Like, my foothold in India turned into a massive chunk of northern India, just like really quick. But like I said, it was getting a bit tedious, and I got a bit distracted, because I clicked on the Byzantine Empire and saw, for some reason, that I had a full claim of their empire. And I couldn't resist. Honestly, this is probably one of my biggest mistakes in this run. Like, it caused so many fucking problems. It wasn't that helpful, and it just caused problems, as you'll probably see, unless I skip over it, which I probably will. The main problem with the Byzantine Empire was me, to be honest. I, for some fucking reason, decided I didn't really want it. I want to keep to the, the core British Empire, the actual historical shit. So I gave it to one of my kids and just granted independence and just thought, yeah, fuck it. That'll do. Just leave it. And it was one of the biggest fucking problems I had. I just constantly had to bail him out of shit. I should have just left him. Oh, I should have just kept it and got rid of it at the end. It was such a fucking problem. But aside from the Byzantine Empire, it was actually all going rather well. Like, I was crusading through Egypt, not Egypt, fucking India. India, really easily. I genuinely thought I could get this whole thing done within a couple lifetimes. Then, in typical Crusader Kings fashion, my heir got fucking murdered. I mean, it was my fault. He was in the army, but he still got fucking murdered, which put a dent in my plan. But it wasn't like the be all and end all. It just meant that when I died shortly after, my new heir was just not very good. And this is where it all goes downhill. Because pretty much immediately, independence war. Because, why not? Then I realised my massive mistake with the Byzantine Empire was that they've just inherited large chunks of my land in India for no fucking reason. Well, it is for a reason. It's because they're my heirs. But it's like they just inherited that. So it just fucked me over really hard. But, these are my speciality, independence wars. So I was winning it actually pretty easily. Then I got hit with a liberty war at the same time, which was fun. Then, you'll never guess what, right? Go on, try and guess. Another independence war. I mean, you're probably thinking, this is bullshit. How the fuck did you get through this? This would have killed your kingdom. Honestly, this was a cakewalk when you compare what happened to me in about 10 years. But, somehow I got through it. And then I continued my crusade of fucking Egypt, India. And honestly, I was getting a bit lazy at this point, so I just kind of declared war on the entirety of the Indian subcontinent. Again, probably a mistake. I'm not too big to admit it. Probably a mistake. Because you'll never guess what happened as soon as I declared all these wars. Fucking murdered. This had to be the best murder I've ever seen. It fucked me. It destroyed my entire 17-hour game. It fucked it up the arse. As you'll now see, because I'm in 5 different wars on the Indian subcontinent. I knew what was going to happen. Independence War was going to come right up my arse in about 2 minutes. So I had to just try and rush down the entirety of India. I even took the option to have less crown authority just to try and slightly delay that fuckery of an independence war that you just know was going to happen, because I was a 13-year-old. But obviously, because I was just trying to rush down India, my army was starving, they were dying, I had to spend money on mercenaries, all that shit. Like, I went from a grand of gold to being almost a grand in debt really fucking quick. And obviously, speak of the devil, and he will arrive, independence war. And honestly, I just sat there for about 10 minutes just contemplating my life at this point. Like, what the fuck was I meant to do? I survived a couple independence wars, quite hard ones, and this was just a fuckery. So I called in literally every single ally I had, every single house person, I don't know what the fuck they're called, every single person I could call in. I still had less, but I thought, there was potential. I could have done it, even in debt, I could have done it. Even though I had started World War II, there was the smallest hope. That was until I realised I couldn't actually surrender a lot of my wars in India because I'd have to pay them about $1,000 and I was already $1,000 in debt. Therefore, I had to fight it. Also, my hope probably shattered when I saw another independence war in India at this point. So the armies were just on top of me. My entire army being frogged, skull-dragged and then desecrated in North India, however, was probably the final nail in the coffin. And, I'm not one for fighting to the bitter end. I will give up when it gets too hard. But, no, there was no but. I fucking gave up. This was horse shit. However, I believe Brexit did make a good impact on the world. You know, I spread it far and wide. And who knows, the save is still there. You know, we can just imagine that I went back on it off camera and saved it all. But anyways, Brexit means Brexit, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.